Devil is busy this morning, but we still got a word from God. That's all right. I preach with no mic. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm a teacher. I'm used to projecting my voice. That's all right. I can do it.
Amen, Pastor.
What my shirt say? Not today, Satan. He won't stop us today. He won't stop us today from praising and worshiping your name. Not today.
In the name of Jesus.
You don't mind? Can I just preach this morning?
Yeah.
Amen.
Can I do this? I love preaching this morning. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the word this morning? My sermon is not structured the way that I usually structure them with the bullet points and the 1, 2, 3 and everything. But as I was writing and preparing the word, God was just speaking to me, and I was just writing down what He was saying, so I would be able to say it back to you this morning.
Amen.
This morning I want to talk about being yourself. And being yourself is one of the most important things that you can learn how to do. Too often we're watching TV and we're seeing these entertainers and we're watching these movies and we're seeing the way that they live and we start to begin to imitate them. But as a Christian, God is calling us to be who He wants us to be. We all have a gift that God has given us.
Yes.
Raise your hand if you know your gift.
Jesus.
I'm not going to ask you what it is when in Bible study. So don't be afraid to raise your hand. But we all have a gift, and even if you don't know that gift yet, I'm here to tell you God does have a gift for you.
Amen.
God has a gift for every one of His children, and once you find out what this gift is, you can't be afraid to use that gift. Too often we're afraid that our gift isn't big enough or it isn't large enough to make an impact on someone, so we are afraid to use that gift. But a lot of times people don't realize what their gift is. A lot of times people are using their gift and they don't even understand that is their gift. That's why it's important that we surround ourselves with the right people. The Bible says that a mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kinds of friends he chooses. Yeah. So if you don't know your gift, if you surround yourself with the right type of people, they'll be able to point out your gift for you. See, a lot of times we hang around the wrong type of people, and what happens is it says our friends are like a mirror. They show us who we really are. What happens is our vision is distorted. A lot of times we choose the wrong people, and the people we're hanging around are telling us that you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But that's not what God has told us to do. So guess what? We're walking in the wrong gift.
Amen.
So we have to be careful who we're hanging around because those people could distort the vision God has gave us.
Oh, yes.
The word says your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. If you know the story of Joseph had a gift to interpret dreams. And while Joseph was in prison, he used this gift. And later on in life, it brought him before the king. See, it says your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. Now, if you're looking at a situation and it seems like you just don't have a place to fit in, your gift will make room for you. It didn't seem like it was a place in the king's army or the king's kingdom at the time, but Joseph's gifts made room for him. His gift to interpret dreams made room for him, and it brought him before a great man, which was the Pharaoh. And Joseph's gift put him second in command of all of Egypt. So while Joseph was in jail, he interpreted the gift of the cupbearer and the baker, and he could have thought, I'm in jail. I'm not using my gift here. I'm locked up against my will. My brothers have thrown me into prison. But yet he knew how important his gift was, and he used it even while he was in the midst of trouble, and it sailed him to the next level of his life. Even King David, we know David had a gift, and he had the gift to play instruments. And David's gift made room for him in King Saul's kingdom. So your gift will always make room for you and put you before great men. Some of us have shortchanged our gifts by comparing ourselves to others. Sometimes we're on at school and we're looking at what others can do and we're playing these sports and we're like, man, that person is good. And guess what happens? We begin to shortchange our gifts because we're trying to do their gifts.
Yes.
So some of us are like the man in the parable who hid his talents in the ground. He says that a master was finna leave and he gave 3 men some talents. And the talents at this time meant money. He gave one man 10 talents, he gave another man 5 talents, and he gave another one 1 talent. And the man with 1 talent didn't do anything with his but put it in the ground. He didn't feel like it was good enough. He felt like he had such a small amount that he couldn't do anything with it, so he just hid it into the ground. But if you know the word says that God has given us a gift, a different measure of the gift according to the grace of God. So somebody might be able to dunk the ball like LeBron James. Somebody else might be a sharpshooter like Cortney. But they all have a gift to play basketball, but they have a different measure of the gift. So you never want to get yourself in a situation where you find yourself comparing your gifts to someone else's gift. Because we all have a different measure of the gift. I was reading this interview this week by about J.J. Redick, and some guy from the NBA had interviewed different role players. Now, if you know anything about J.J. Redick, in college, he was the man. I mean, he had won ACC Player of the Year. He had won even the National Player of the Year his senior year. So J.J. Redick said, when I went to the NBA, I just knew I was going to be a superstar. He knew he was going to be the starting role in whatever team he got on. But he said as time progressed, he realized that I wasn't going to be a superstar. But what I had to do was I had to be a star in my role. Y'all heard that? He had to be a star in his role. So he understood that, you know what, I'm never going to be averaging a triple-double like Westbrook did last year. He understood that I'm never going to be part of a team with a big 3. I'm not going to be the main superstar. But the skills and the talents God has given me, I'm going to be the best at doing that.
Amen.
See, that's what we have to realize about our gift. Whatever your gift is, you have to be the best that God has called you to be in that gift.
Amen.
J.J. Redick said, I got to be a star in my role. So we know J.J. Redick, his main thing is coming off a screen and shooting a 3. And he's very good at it. As a matter of fact, in college, he got so good that he almost set the record for the highest free throw percentage. At one point, he had held the title from 2005 to 2012 for shooting the most free throws in a row. So once he understood that I got to be proficient at just as what God has given me, then we can see that we're going to become successful in life. See, true success is being who God has called you to be. Success is all defined different according to what God has called us to do. So this morning, if you would, go ahead and turn to Genesis 27. I'm going to get there. We're going to read this story about Jacob and Esau. We're going to read this story about Jacob and Esau. And Jacob and Esau were twin brothers. Jacob and Esau were twin brothers, and it says, from the womb, these boys were in conflict. It says, Jacob and Esau was wrestling in their mother's room. It was like Stone Cold and Undertaker were going at it inside Rebecca's room. And she called out to God and said, why me, Lord? She says, why me? And God told her, Rebecca, it's 2 great nations inside of your womb. One nation is stronger than the other, and the younger will rule the older. So Rebecca has these 2 great nations inside of her, but yet God has told her the younger shall rule the older. Now, if you know anything about Hebrew culture, that usually the older one would rule the younger. And the older one would be the one that got the blessings from the father, and the older one would be the one that was just favored by the family. But yet God is telling her, your younger son is going to be the favorite. See, a lot of times, firstborns seem like they just get everything. Yeah. Ask my sister, they'll tell you that. It seems like firstborns just get it all. They always say, man, mom and daddy spoiled you. You got to go to college and they even was helping pay for your dorm rooms and stuff while you was in college. We didn't get none of that. It seems like the firstborn just get everything, but right here we see the opposite is going to happen because God has told Rebekah that her youngest son is going to rule over the older. So in chapter 27 of Genesis, Isaac has become old, and I'm talking about the Isaac, the one that Abraham had, and we know the story. Pastor Brandon is always talking about Abraham and Isaac, how he was about to be sacrificed on the mountain. So Isaac now, he got his own children. And he has some twin boys called Jacob and Esau. And Isaac has grown old here. He's not a young lad anymore. He has grown old here, and it says Isaac can barely see. So Isaac is about to get ready to pass his blessing on to his oldest son, Esau. And the text says Rebekah heard of this, and she began to plan a way to trick Esau out of his blessing. So as we pick up here, we're going to start at verse 18, and we're going to go all the way down to verse 33. Verse 18, it says, he went with his father and said, my father. Yes, my son, he answered. Who is it? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game so that you have gave me your blessing. So what has happened is, Isaac had told Esau, go out and prepare some game for me. And when you bring it back, make it delicious, make it taste good, just like Daddy liked it. And he said, I'm going to give you my blessing. So Rebekah hears of this, and she begins to scheme up this plan with her son Jacob. And as she begins to scheme up this plan, she tells Jacob, go get me two fresh, young choice goats. And I'm going to make this meal just like your daddy likes it, so that you may receive the blessing he's about to give Esau. So what they done is, we're going to keep going, verse 20. Isaac asked his son, how did you find it so quickly, my son? The Lord your God gave me success, he replied. So he's lying about God. He says, then Isaac said to Jacob, come near so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you are really my son Esau or not. Now the way that Isaac was going to be able to know whether it was Esau or not, it says when Esau was born, he was very hairy. And even from his birth all the way till he was a grown man, people knew him by how hairy he was. So Isaac is telling him, come closer so I can know if you really are Esau. Verse 22, Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like those of his brothers of Esau, so he could bless him. Are you really my son Esau, he asked. I am, he replied. So what Rebekah did was she knew that her husband was going to ask to touch him. Because remember, he can't see. So he's going off voices and feeling, and he's using his other senses. And what Rebekah has done is she got the skin of some goats. And she placed it on his arms and on his hands to be able to trick her husband. And at first, I admit that Jacob didn't want to go through with this lie. At first, Jacob was like, are you sure we should be doing this, mother? But his mother said, just trust me, and I'll handle all the hard work. So he goes in, and he's tricking his father, and he says, are you really my son Esau? He says, I am, he replied. Verse 25, then he said, my son, bring me some of your game to eat, so that I may give you my blessing. Jacob brought it to him, and he ate. And he brought some wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, come here, my son, and kiss me. So when he went to him, he kissed him. And when Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him and said, so they also not only put the hair of the goat, they also went into Esau's closet and got his best clothes to put on Jacob. Now we talking about some real trickery here now. And they just put on his blessing, and it says, when Isaac got a smell of him, he gave him his blessing. Look at this blessing. This is a blessing. I want to be blessed like this. It says, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you the heavens dew and the earth riches, and an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and people bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the son of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. Verse 30 says, after Isaac finished blessing him, and Jacob had scarcely left his father present, his brother Esau came in from hunting. Now his brother had been out there working hard. And this scheme that Jacob and his mother have came up with has tricked Esau out of his blessing. Now if you know a little bit about the backstory, Esau had already been kind of tricked out of his birthright. Now Esau had been working in the field at one time, and it says Esau came in and Jacob was cooking this stew that smelled so good. And Jacob said, I'm dying of hunger. Please feed me. And it says Esau didn't think much of his birthright anyway, so he sold it to his brother for a cup of stew. Now, Esau has already lost his birthright. So the only thing he got to look forward to is this blessing his father is supposed to give him. So Jacob has come back from the field, and he says in verse 31, he too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. Then he said to him, my father, sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing. His father asked him, who are you? I am your son, he answered, your firstborn, Esau. Isaac trembled violently and said, who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came, and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed. Now the thing about blessings is, once you bless someone at this time, you couldn't take it back. So the blessing was Jacob's to keep. So Jacob has swindled his way into getting his brother's blessing. Isaac is old, he can't see. Now Esau and Jacob, they were very different. They were complete opposites. I'll give you a little background about Esau and Jacob. Esau was known as a hunter. It says he was very skillful when he hunted. Esau was hairy. Esau was Isaac's favorite, and Esau's name comes from the Hebrew word that means hair. Now, Jacob, on the other hand, it says Jacob was a plainclothes man. It says Jacob stayed back in the tent and he worked with his mother. And Jacob had smooth skin. He was Rebekah's favorite, and Jacob's name meant to deceive. It says when Esau and Jacob were born, Jacob came out grabbing the heel of Esau, which means his name meant, when I was researching, it said heel grabber, which has the connotations of someone to deceive another person, someone who is full of trickery, someone who will see you and snatch the carpet right from under your feet.
Watch out.
That was his name. And as we see, he lived up to his name. The title of today's sermon is Comparison Kills. That sounds kind of deep, though. Comparison Kills. I have been listening to this album by Jonathan McReynolds. See, somebody knows some good music right there. See, she's down the head, she knows. So I've been listening to this album by Jonathan McReynolds, and on Teacher Work, I listened to the album 2 times, and one day the album's so good. And I was like, man, what am I going to title this sermon? I had just been studying. I really didn't have no title. I had just been writing. I don't know what I'm going to call it. And God said, call it Comparison Kills. And the song just is so strong and so powerful about what happens when you compare yourself to others. So today we're going to talk about how the way comparison kills. See, Jacob right here has broken 4 of the 10 commandments just by trying to get his brother's blessing. See, it was only 10, so by my standard, that means that if he was taking a test, he'd have missed 4, he got a 60% on his grade. Now, you know, y'all a little easy going now, 60, y'all still say that's passing. But when I was growing up, you had to at least make a 63, no, you had to make a 64, 63 was still failing. I know, because I flunked in high school, so I know that the failing grade, but by my standard, Esau has failed the test. Esau has failed the test. He has coveted his neighbor's goods. He did not honor his parents. He stole from his brother, and he bared false witness to his parents. So Esau is just, he's on the spree. The thing about sinning, sometimes when you get in sin, you just get on a downward spiral, and it just seems like, well, I done committed one sin, I might as well commit another one, because it just don't matter no more. And that's the spiral that Jacob is on, that he's like, well, I done already put on my brother's clothes, so I might as well just go forward with this lie. Well, I'm already trying to do what mama say, so I might as well just lie to my father. Well, I like what my brother has, so I might as well just steal it from him. So he's just on this downward spiral, just doing exactly what the opposite the word of God was telling him to do. See, what comparison does is, it tries to get us to get something that we already have. Comparison tries to get us to get something we already have. Now, God had already told Rebekah, your younger one will rule your older one. He's already been blessed. He's already been blessed, but because he's so focused on Esau's blessing, now he's trying to get something he already had. That's what comparison does. See, he thinks that this blessing should be his. See, a lot of times we struggle with life choices. I'm not going to lie, I don't always make the right decision. We all sometimes struggle with life choices. We all sometimes make the wrong choice. We all sometimes live up to the name people are calling us, but we all can learn from our past mistakes. See, later on, Jacob didn't always keep this name, the one who deceived. Later on, he became Israel. And it says Israel means the one who wrestled with God and still came out. It says Jacob had a dream one night, and it says he wrestled with this man all night long. And it says when the sun rose, then he said, let me go and bless him. And when he woke up, he realized he had been wrestling with God. And it says God changed his name to Israel, the one who wrestles with God and still comes out. So we don't always have to live up to the name people are calling us. Sometimes we make past mistakes, but we can't let our past mistakes define us. Jacob already had the promise to be blessed from the womb, but yet we see him trying to get something he already had. The problem was he didn't believe it. See, God a lot of times gives us promises. He gives us blessings. He tells us if we do this, then this will happen. But we don't believe him. We don't believe that if I continue to be faithful to God, then one day I'm going to excel to this next level. So guess what we do? We take it into our own hand. We take it to our own hand. See, Rebekah knew the promise of God. God had told her, your younger will rule over your older one. But guess what? She said, you know what, God? It ain't happening the way I thought it would happen. So you know what? I see that my other son finna get this blessing from his father. So I'm going to work out my own little thing and do it in my own little way. See, Isaac had married the same type of woman that his father Abraham did. Okay, now, somebody don't know about Abraham's wife. See, Abraham's wife wanted her husband Abraham to have a son. But since she couldn't have a son, guess what she did? She took matters into her own hand, and she said, sleep with my maid, and she had the son Ishmael. See, that's something about cycles right there, but that's a whole nother sermon for a whole nother time right there. See,
watch out.
He had married the same kind of woman that his father had. They took things into their own hands when God wasn't coming when they thought he should have. See, all Jacob could see was Esau was the strong one. Esau was the one that had father's blessing. Esau was the firstborn. Esau was a skilled hunter. Esau was daddy's favorite, and he figured the only way I'm going to be blessed is if I take this blessing.
Come on now.
He had to steal what he wanted to get from Esau. Now, I don't know much about God's will, but I think if God is going to bless me, I'm not going to have to steal to get it.
Amen.
I don't think God would have us to steal something he has already promised.
Amen.
Many of us are looking at other people's gifts, and instead of focusing on ourselves, we're focusing on the gift God has given them. And we're comparing our gift to theirs. And we're saying, man, he's such a skilled hunter. Man, he's daddy's favorite. Man, he's popular with everybody else. But we don't even know God has given us a gift. We don't even understand that God has given us a gift. That's why social media is so dangerous these days. See, social media, people are putting their highlights up on the internet, and that's all you seeing. It seems like, man, they just doing it big. It seems like everything they do is just being blessed. See, that's why social media is so dangerous. Social media is like sitting on the runway watching everybody else plane take off. Somebody ain't been stuck on a plane before. Social media is like sitting on the runway watching everybody else plane take off. And you just sitting there thinking, as you look through Instagram, man, I wonder when my plane gonna take off. Man, I sure am tired of sitting here. Man, it seems like I've been stuck here forever. Man, they going to Dubai. Oh, man. When am I gonna take a trip? When am I gonna do this? When am I gonna do that? And it's like you're just watching the highlights of their life, and it seems like your plane is stuck on the ground. See, the true definition of success is being who God has called you to be.
That's it.
Esau should have realized the blessing. Jacob should have realized the blessing that he already had. That his smooth skin could have been used for something. That being staying back with his mother, he had been picking up talent and skills that his brother did not possess. But he was too busy looking at somebody else's blessing. He was too busy focusing on the gifts that Esau had. See, being you should be the most natural thing it is for you to do. And it takes a whole lot less effort to be you than to try to be somebody else. Because when you're trying to be somebody else, you go, okay, how would they do this? How would they walk? How would they talk? What would they say? And that's always on your mind. It takes too much effort. That's why it should be natural for you to be the person God has called you.
Amen.
See, I understand that I may never preach like T.D. Jakes and Tony Evans, and I may never even have a congregation big enough to ask for a jet plane like Creflo Dollar, but I do understand the blessing God has given me. So, and because I understand that, I'm going to be fine with that. I'm not going to be on YouTube crafting my sermons trying to preach like T.D. Jakes. I'm not going to be on YouTube watching Tony Evans and trying to say the way that he would say it. It's going to take too much effort. I'll be lost because I'm going to be so focused on trying to be somebody else that you're not even going to hear God's word. You're going to be up here wondering, wait,
Say it, Pastor.
See, Jacob, he stole his brother's blessing, and then he wasted 20 years of his life. Now imagine you realize you've been tricked out of your birthright for a bowl of stew. And now the blessing that you was finna get, the same brother has took it from your father. So guess how Jacob was feeling? Guess how Esau was feeling? He was mad. A lot of us would be mad if someone has took from us what God has promised us. And what happened is Esau is mad, and guess what he said? I'm going to kill him. He said, I'm going to kill him. Enough is enough now. I ain't got nothing else left. It says that Esau begged his father for another blessing. But the blessing was so small that it just seemed like it didn't matter to Esau. So Esau said, I'm going to kill my brother. And it says Rebekah got wind of this, and she went to her son Jacob and said, your brother is planning to kill you. So go back to my home country with my brother and stay there for a little while. A little while turned to 20 years. A little while turned to 20 years. Jacob never got to see his mother again because she died while he was away, hiding from his brother. See, what comparing ourselves does is comparing ourselves causes us to waste time. It causes us to waste time. I understand that I never, ever be able to sing like Zach. But if I compare myself to Zach, and I begin to say, you know what? I should be able to sing a song like that. I should be able to do that. That should be my gift. Guess what I'm going to end up doing? Wasting a whole bunch of time. Because it was I was about 20-something before I learned to even rock, sing, and clap at the same time. So I know good and well I'm not going to be up here tapping my foot and playing the piano and singing at the same time. That's not my gift. I don't care how hard I try, how much work I put in, I'll never be able to sing like that. That's not my gift. And if I try to compare myself to him and pursue that gift, I'm going to end up wasting time. And that's exactly what Jacob did. He wasted 20 years of his life working for his uncle for a wife. It says he got there and he liked the women that he seen. And it says he wanted one of the women, and he told him, you're going to have to work. I can't remember. I think it was 7 years for this wife. And it says after the 7 years were complete, guess what he did? He tricked him and put another woman in the room. So he said, oh, now you got my other daughter. He says, now if you want Rachel, he said, you're going to have to work some more years. So he has spent 20 years of his life working and hiding from his brother. He has just wasted his time. And that's what happens when we compare our gifts to someone else.
Yeah.
See, a person in the Bible who understood this at an early age is David. See, Jacob only had one brother to compare himself to, but David had 7. David was the youngest of 8 brothers. And a lot of people remember King David. People refer to David, they say King David. They don't put some respect on his name, King David. So we remember King David, that he was the leader of Israel, that he conquered different lands for the people of Israel, that he led them to victory, and he paved the way for his son, King Saul. A lot of people remember that.
Yeah.
But they forget when he was just David. When he was just David. See, what got King David to a point where he could be called king was he remembered and he used his gift when he was just David. See, a lot of us want disrespect, and a lot of us want people to reverence us and do all of these things, but we're not using our gift God has given us. We're not using it and cultivating it and getting it ready for the next level.
Amen.
See, it wasn't the courage that David had. It wasn't the leadership that David had that brought him before King Saul. It was his gift. The word says your gift will make room for you and put you before great men.
Amen.
See, David had a gift to play music. And King Saul, it says, God was fed up with King Saul. And King Saul was no longer going to be ruling Israel. So it says the spirit had been tormenting King Saul. And the only way he could find relief was when he heard music from this instrument. Now David could play the harp like nobody's business. And it says, somebody in King Saul camp says, one of Jesse's boys, he can play some music. One of Jesse's boys can play that instrument. And it says, King Saul says, go get him. Go get him for me. And David's gift is what ultimately brought him into King Saul's camp. Now, imagine if David was too busy trying to be like his other 7 brothers. Imagine if he didn't appreciate the gift God had given him to play music. He would have never got the opportunity to play in front of King Saul. Then he would have never got the opportunity to defeat Goliath. Then he would have never got the opportunity to be King David. See, our gift, it makes room for us and put us in front of great men.
Amen.
That's what our gift will do. But we have to learn how to appreciate what God has given us. Yes. We have to understand that David understood this, that he appreciated the gift God had gave him. So somewhere along the line, David must have been playing in front of people, because it wasn't even one of his brothers. It didn't say his cousin, his uncle, his auntie. It just said somebody King Saul knew says, one of Jesse's boys, he could play that music. One of Jesse's boys sounded like they could do everything. Jesse had 8 sons. It sounded like you need that car fixed, go call one of Jesse's boys. He said one of Jesse's sons, he could play that music. So he went and got him. It says not only was David able to play music, he was a warrior, he was handsome, and God was with him. See, when we learn to appreciate our gift, it is in God will move us into another realm. See, once we learn to appreciate, I'm on this plane, and I'm trying to get somewhere, then the pilot is telling you buckle up because we finna take off. See, we have to learn to appreciate what God has given us. Yes. Because in the parable, when the king gave the man the talents, the 2 that used their talents for good, it says that the king blessed them with even more. See, a lot of us are asking for God's blessing, but we're not even using what we already have. A lot of us want to run a business, but we can't even run our household.
Come on now.
A lot of us wants to do these great things, but we can't even be trusted with the small things. A lot of us want to ride the car all night by ourselves without reporting to mama, but we can't even be trusted to take out the trash.
Watch out now.
We can't even be trusted to cut off the video game at a certain time.
Come on now, Pastor.
We can't even be trusted not to be sending these things in the DMs we shouldn't be sending. The teenagers quiet, the grown people laughing, but the teenagers quiet. We can't even be trusted with that stuff. But we want to move on to the next level. But what God is saying, I cannot trust you with what I've already given you. See, as David played this musical instrument for King Saul, it presented even more opportunities for him. See, a lot of times God is a God of opportunity. We're asking God for certain things, and he gives us the opportunity to do it. We're saying, hey, God, I want to do this, I want to do that. And we're just expecting to just drop in our lap. David wanted to be king, and we're just expecting, one day I'm going to wake up and they're going to put the crown on my head. Well, no, I'm going to present you with opportunities to prepare yourself to be a king. And that's what God does a lot of times. He gives us opportunities. See, if I'm going to be I want to be, my gift is praying. God is going to present me with different opportunities to pray.
Amen.
If my gift is making people laugh, well, God is going to give me opportunities to use that gift and make people laugh. See, I'm not going to just stand there and be funny. I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity God has given me to make someone laugh. God is a God of opportunities. So David is now he's with Saul, and we know about the battle of David and Goliath. And the Philistines have come and they're tormenting the Israelites. Goliath is coming up every morning telling them, y'all can't beat me, and if you do, you can't do it. If you think about it, I'm going to beat you. And he's just tormenting them with his words. And it says the Israelites are running. They are afraid of Goliath. And it says David sees this, and he begins to ask some questions. And one of his brothers doesn't like him snooping around and asking questions. But remember, David could not only play music, but it also says he was a warrior. So David had this inner strength in him. And when everybody else was looking at the physical side of David was, the physical side of Goliath, he was looking at the spiritual side. David recognized that Goliath was not in a covenant with God. So he said, this is going to be an easy battle. He said, this is going to be an easy battle. And before he went to battle, he had a little chat with King Saul. And King Saul was scared. King Saul wasn't going to battle. He had already made up his mind, I'm not going to fight this fight. But I need one of y'all to go up there and defeat Goliath. So King Saul has told David, okay, you can go ahead and fight Goliath. And he goes to fight Goliath, and what King Saul is, he gives David all of his armor. Now David puts on his armor, and it says David walks in the armor, but it didn't fit right. It didn't feel right. See, the problem is walking around in somebody else's gift is you shouldn't feel right. See, when you're trying to be good at singing music, but God has called you to preach, it shouldn't feel right. It shouldn't feel right. It should feel like you're out of place. See, and that's what happened. David said he put on the King Saul's armor and it didn't feel right, so it says he took them off. But David, remember, I am good at throwing these stones. So David knew, I got a gift to throw stones. So it said David went and grabbed him 3 smooth stones. And he grabbed his sling and he went to battle. It says that David hit Goliath right in the middle of his forehead and he fell. And the rest is history. We know that after that, David goes on to conquer many Philistines, and then he goes on to be called King David. But at first, he had to acknowledge the gift and recognize the gift that God has given him. He understood that I can't swing this sword like King Saul. This helmet is too heavy for my head. This cape that he has on, I can't wear this. I don't feel right when I'm in it. But I do feel right when I got this sling and this stone.
Yeah.
He had to know his gift.
Oh, yes.
See, this knowing his gift caused David to walk into his destiny because he understood his gift. Tell you this, no matter how big or how small you view your gift, operate in it. No matter how big or small you view your gift, operate in it. You have the gift of prayer, and you can't pray 30 minutes at a time. But if your gift of prayer and all you can do is 1 minute, pray that 1 minute prayer.
That's right.
Because that's your gift. No matter how big or small your gift is, operate in that gift. See, if you got the gift to throw rocks in Jesus' name. If you got the gift to make people laugh, make them laugh in Jesus' name. If you got the gift to play instruments in Jesus' name. If you got the gift to encourage in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Whatever the gift is, operate in it and do it in Jesus' name. God is calling us to do what he wants us to do. A lot of times we don't want to give up our will to do God's will. Well, God, I want to be able to play drums, play the piano, and blow the trumpet. I want to do it all. But God has only given us the gift to play drums. So whatever that gift is, we have to understand how to operate in it. Remember, your gift will always make room for you and take you to great places. So I wrote down these last 4 things that I want you to write down about your gift. Number 1, your gift will elevate you in due season. Repeat after me, young people. Your gift will elevate you in due season. Number 2, don't neglect your gift. Don't neglect your gift. Repeat after me. Don't neglect your gift. Number 3, don't compare your gift. Repeat after me. Don't compare your gift. And number 4, trust God with your gift. Repeat after me. Trust God with your gift.
With your gift.
Everyone please stand in prayer.